Over 1 million cinema lovers have already subscribed to Film Companion. What are you waiting for? Hit the bell icon and join our film family.
Everyone's favorite, the title is basically the plot. Rom-com series is back. Based on Surya Wanshi's book of the same name, Never Kiss Your Best Friend aims to be a fluffy, frothy rom-com which follows the turbulent will they, won't they, should they, shouldn't they romantic drama between two best friends turned lovers turned exes. Tani played by Anya Singh and Sumer played by Nakuul Mehta. As the title so proudly suggests, Never Kiss Your Best Friend isn't a show that's going for nuance or subtlety. It's an only frills pulpy love story that wears its heart and melodrama on its sleeve. I wasn't a fan of the first season, which felt like it oscillated between harmless cheesy guilty pleasure and forced cringy love story, with bare basic surface level writing and characters. But I gotta say, this time around, I found myself falling for the show's comfortable charms. A result of both me learning to watch the series in context of what it's going for, along with the fact that it delivers a more focused, self-assured, and at times surprisingly sensitive second season. And luckily, you don't really need to know what went down last time to dive straight into the events of this season. It's been 2 years since ex-best friends turned lovers, Tani and Sumer, had an ugly breakup, and they haven't spoken since. He's off chasing his dreams of being a filmmaker and she's focused on her career as a writer. After writing a successful first book and a dud of a second one, Tani now works as a screenwriter at a London-based production house. She successfully pitches a script for a web series, and in searching for a director, who do they find? Of course, it's Sumer, in what becomes a workplace romantic comedy. If season 1 was Never Kiss Your Best Friend, season 2 is Never Work with Your Ex. But there's a lot more going on this time around. Writer-director Harsh Dedia and his co-writers Mishka Shekhawat, Mehak Jamal, Sumrit Shahi and Durjoy Datta branch out beyond the central Tani-Sumer navigating personal versus professional relationship story, padding up the show with more characters, love stories and arcs, giving us more to hold on to and invest in. So joining the cast this time are the delightful Javed Jafri as Tani's uncle, Karan Wahi, who plays an actor who serves as Tani's budding new romantic fodder, along with the well-cast Sarah Jane Dias as head of the production house Lavanya, the girl boss trying to make it in a man's world. Even on a basic plot level, there's much I liked here. For one, any rom-com where the girl is the protagonist immediately gets my attention. I've also got a big soft corner for movies about making movies, and it's fun to watch a web series that follows the making of a web series. Even in the storytelling, I liked how the cinematography, the production design, the overactive background score and colourful cotton candy-like aesthetic all live in service of the show's almost animated tone. Narrative aside, even visually it feels like you're watching a playful, fizzy, young adult romance novel. Not to mention all the fancy clothes and coats. As it's set in London, every new scene seems to demand a new coat apparently. This is basically an 8-episode fancy coat commercial. Not just that, this is the Londoniest London anyone has ever Londoned. Every scene is set almost exclusively in scenic parks and bustling high streets, on bridges and buses and skyscrapers. It's basically London porn. And of course, despite that, this is a world where everyone speaks Hindi and even characters brought up there don't have a British accent. And for some reason, there's an Indian production company making Indian movies and shows with an Indian cast and crew which is based in London. But of course, one does not venture into the colourful, warm, fuzzy wonders of Never Kiss Your Best Friend expecting logic or reason. The writing this season, and particularly the dialogue, lacks laughs and remains stilted and watered down, but between the brisk, breezy pacing, adorably basic characters, and a plot filled with multiple romantic arcs and love triangles, there's a distinct pleasantness that kept me smiling. It also helps that the actors feel more settled and in command of their bratty, at times childish characters. As Tani, Anya Singh brings a spunky energy to the young writer navigating matters of the heart. Even when Tani dishes out her frequent fourth wall breaks to talk to the audience about how she's feeling, despite the simplistic writing, Anya's compelling charm ensures that it's never jarring. As Sumer, an earnest Nakuul Mehta is less excitable and more grounded this time around, and works better when the show is at its lightest and most playful rather than the more emotionally demanding scenes. As Tani's Bittu Mama, Javed Jafri brings a much needed dose of lovable laugh to the proceedings as the man tracking down his childhood sweetheart to ensure that the one that got away doesn't again. I especially like the charismatic Sapna Pabi as Tani's supportive friend who's perfectly in sync with the tone and pitch of this show, even though she's oddly credited here as a guest appearance despite having a fully fledged, significant role. The fact is, we continue to be desperately starved of rom-coms and love stories. And this season of Never Kiss Your Best Friend took me back to a simpler time and, for a few precious moments, filled the rom-com shaped hole in my life. There's a scene in the last episode where Tani and Sumer have a conversation about them bouncing between the blurry boundaries of love and friendship. Not a grand declaration, but a surprisingly mature conversation. It's stray moments like that which made me look beyond all the pretty packaging and romantic posturing, where I felt it and entirely and unapologetically submitted to the show's beating heart. You can watch Never Kiss Your Best Friend Season 2 on Z5.